I've recently been asked how I configure the buttons on my Formula FX wheel for iRacing. So, very good question, as just getting a wheel like this can seem a bit intimidating with all the different buttons. We have a heap of buttons, heap of rotary thumb encoders. We've all sorts of stuff going on here, even on the back. This is a monster of a wheel. So, we have a lot of options for what we can do here. And to be honest, I don't even use them all. So this is going to be a very interesting video. Now, you can do this whatever way you want, but for me, I've put in a lot of time in figuring out where I like my own things. You may be surprised about that. Let's just give it a crack. So first and foremost, the most important ones I use, and by the way, I'm going to be showing you how I do this in the simulator in case you're curious. I'm just going to give you a quick lowdown now, and then I'll show you in the settings because some of these are a little bit complicated. So how I get in and out of sim racing is this neutral button. It's kind of far away, so I don't often go near it, but I put it here. Next up, my pit speed limiter is here, this pit button. That's where I use the pit sticker. Next, I use the microphone down here. This is for radio and chatting. And then I use the OSD button, which is on-screen display, I assume. This is used to change through the different things that pop up here, the display pages. And this actually I don't use this as a bindable button. Up here, I don't use this button. Up here, this is the relative. So anytime I want to find my relative in iRacing, I just push this button, my relative pops up, and then I push it again and it disappears. Very handy to have that relative button at a quick press notice, because in case you come off the track or you're getting tangled up in something and you need to see your relative, bang, you just need to have the relative button super close. It's probably the most important on my wheel. Next up on the left hand side over here, we have the headlight flashing. Up again, this is a blank. Sometimes I use this for pass left, pass right, for special events or stuff like that, but I leave these blank. Same with this guy. This can be used for all sorts of stuff such as boost or DRS as I need it. So I haven't put a sticker on these guys because they stay as auxiliary. Now, funnily I mentioned it, there is an auxiliary one here. So this will make my wipers flash once just to clear off the windscreen, and this makes my wipers turn on in iRacing. And lastly, down here, we have visor tear off. Visor tear off is an interesting one. I like to do it myself. Personally, I don't like to wait for iRacing to clear it. I keep it out of the way, but when things are messy, I'll just hit that and then my visor clears. So it works out very well there. So there's all the pressable buttons on the wheel. Next up, we'll go to these guys here. These 5. This is what I'm talking about, these 5. So we have ABS, traction control, and brake balance. They're all mapped as such in the simulator. I keep them there. Next up, I have these 2. Now, I don't use any cars that have differentials that I want to adjust mid-car, mid-race, mid-car. Jeez. And then map as well. I'm not changing engine maps or anything like that. One thing that these are very valuable for me is volume control. Sometimes I like to hear more of chat. Sometimes I like to hear less of chat. Sometimes I like to hear more of the game and less of the sim. So this is bound to game volume. This is bound to simulator volume, or sorry, the voice chat. So that's those 2 guys here. Now, we have a few other options here. We have these guys. Now, these guys are pretty cool because you have a lot of options with them. You have right and left, up and down, left and right. So this one here, when I push up, it'll mute my Discord. When I push up again, it'll unmute me on Discord. When I push down on this, it'll mute my speakers on Discord. Likewise, if I push down again, it gets rid of my speakers on Discord. One thing that I use regularly for this sometimes is push to talk. That's a very handy one to use. So I can push this or just press to mute. It's basically what this does, except it's more easy to access. So I can just press that. So push to talk or push to mute can go there sometimes. Now we're left with a few options. Sometimes I like to cycle through my relative boxes. So what I'll do for that is I put it here. So next relative box or the next black box, previous black box can go on this. But one thing I've noticed that I prefer a little bit more is I actually map it to the back up to these paddles here, as I don't really have much of a secondary use for them. They can be nice for using one-handed shifting. So if I want to downshift with my left hand off the wheel, I can just press this one up here as opposed to the guy down here. But to be honest, I don't really need that kind of stuff going on. So this is blank and this is blank at the moment, but these can be used whenever. So sometimes I use this for active reset and then get rid of it. And then I use this guy for setting a custom sector and then getting rid of the custom sector, or starting the custom sector end. So that's pretty much how I do it. And I use these guys instead to cycle through my relatives, as they're really easy to get around with and very easy to access. Let me show you in iRacing how this all looks for those that are curious. So here we are in iRacing. So exit/tow car is this button here. Funnily enough, I need to reset all these again because I swapped from a different wheel. So let's press done there. Then we're going to go to sound. Let's do the sound now. So we're going to make it louder and quieter. We're going to make louder and quieter for the voice chat here. Louder and quieter. Mute. I may put this up on the wheel up here. I'll use one of those blank ones that I haven't been using. So that'll mute people. Very valuable button that is. Trust me on this one. Right, now with all that done, let's go to controls. So we're going to come down a little bit. We need our headlight flash. That's going to go up here. We need our pit speed limiter. That's going to go in the pit. We are going to have a little look at push to pass can go over here, but that's only sometimes when I need it in Super Formula. And then toggle windscreen wipers and then trigger windshield wipers are down here. Tear off visor is VT. That's the nice little sticker I use, visor tear off. I assume that's what it means. Here we go. It's grayed out because it means it doesn't have it in this car, but it'll still be on. Brake bias set. Turn right here, press done. Turn left here, press done. There we go. So brake bias set is for going up and down with the brake bias. And then we have traction control set. Same again, TC up, TC down. And then we're going to come to, have we set TC? That's traction control set. And then we're going to go right here for ABS, back here for ABS. And there we go. We have ABS and traction control set here. And that's pretty much everything on that side. Now, next up, there are some fancy things here I do have, but they're set to my button box, which is just over here, driver up and down and stuff like that. But yeah, so next black box, I'm going to select this paddle up here is next black box. Previous black box is going to be the left one. Relative, bang. That fella up there, top right. Okay, I like to put that to okay because, I don't know, it belongs on all wheels. So it's nice to use stickers that are usually found on wheels. Same with neutral. I didn't want to put in exit or like quit game, you know. I like just neutral. Looks nice on the steering wheel too. So we have the relative, we have the black box. I'm not going to have individual black boxes. I'm not overly interested in stuff like that. Maybe the in-car adjustments box, maybe. But like, I'm not really in the mood for it. So we're going to, we see we're able to cycle around our black boxes super easy. Next and previous. What I'm going to do here is these guys. So select next control and select previous control. So what that means is when you're in your black box, you can then cycle down is the next, or to cycle up is the previous. So we're going to use this little guy down here, this black guy that I didn't mention, and we're going to press down for the next control and then up for the previous control. This little black switch down here, it looks small, but it's very powerful. It's a 7-way funky switch. You can do a lot with it. So we have next is down, previous is up. Increment select control. So what we're going to do here is we're going to push right, and then to decrease the selected control, we're going to push left. And then to toggle the selected control, such as activating or deactivating tires, we're going to press inwards. Now, we still have some more capability that we haven't used because you can rotate this right or left. So what we can do here is add in extra stuff should you want, really anything you want. We can increase driver height here with right, decrease with left. And then when we're in the sim, we can move up or we can move down. It's a very handy thing to have. But to be honest, that is how I configure my SimMagic FX Pro. Best of luck with your configuration of it. And if you have any cool ideas of how you set yours up in comparison to me, let me know, because I always love to know different ways, because this wheel is packed with functionality. And yeah, the possibilities are somewhat endless with the amount of combinations of things. As you see, I have Discord, audio, all sorts of stuff going on here. But yeah, let me know how you configure your SimMagic FX Pro. And if this video helped you, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.